get started on Linux, go to developers.google.com/appengine, and on the left hand side you'll see a downloads link. Select the downloads link and you'll see a number of different downloads, including the SDK for PHP, Python, Java and Go. But we're interested in Python right now, so I'm going to select the Google App Engine SDK for Python. You'll see a download link here for Linux or other platforms, which is a zip file. So select that and we'll save the zip. So once it's downloading, we'll open it up. I'll minimize the browser. Here we can see our App Engine zip file. And when we open that one up, we get Google App Engine 1.8.8 .zip contains just this Google App Engine. So I'm just going to drag and drop that onto my desktop. And you see it extracts. While that's extracting, I'm going to open up a terminal. And within the terminal, we can see that we have our desktop directory. So the Google App Engine is going to get put there, but we need to know exactly where it is this is going to be. So usually the path is going to look something like cd/home / your computer name. In this case it's and then within there we see we have desktop. So if I say cd/home /L Moroney /desktop, we know that that's the directory. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a path to that by saying export path equals string path, and then I'm going to add /home /L Moroney /desktop to that. Okay, and then I'm also just going to add the App Engine directory to that path, /home L Moroney desktop /Google _App Engine. So now I know that's on my path. This is only going to work during my current session. If later on, if you want to do this, you just add something to your profile, such as like your bash or C login or whatever it is that you use for path on your Linux distro. So the next thing I'm going to do is just on my desktop, I'm going to make a directory called first Python. And within that directory, I'm going to create a YAML file. So I'm going to create an app.yaml within there. So if I just open, let's see what text editors I have on here. Do I have gedit? I'll just open my text editors and going to create an app.yaml here. So I'm just going to say application is first Python. Version is 1. My runtime that I'm using is Python. My API version, so that's the version of the App Engine API Python, which is 1, even though I might be using Python 2.7 or something like that. Handlers section, I'm going to say URL /.star, so that means pretty much everything. And then script that I want to do that is index.py. So I'm going to save this. Now it was on my desktop, first Python, and I'm going to call it app.yaml. So if I go to my first Python and take a look, I see app.yaml is in there. Great. So next up, I'm going to create the index.py script that we had here, that we were referring to here. So if I create a new file, and in index.script, I'm just going to say print index.py content type text/plain, and I'm going to print just something empty, and then I'm going to print hello world. Like so, and I will save this, and it's within the first Python directory, but this is going to be index.py, and save that out. So now if I go back and list my directory, I see I have app.yaml and I have index.py. So what's the next thing I want to do is I want to run the app server, the developer app server. So if you remember in Google App Engine it was there, but there's a script called dev app server.py, and I'm going to point it at my directory containing my App Engine app. So the directory contains the app.yaml as well as the script. So if I run that, the dev app server should launch. And it actually failed to launch because I have a typo here. I had version instead of version. And if I scroll through here, you can see as you look through it that there's a unexpected attribute version error is given there. So the console output is very useful. So I'll say version and save it, and let's try that again. So now it seems to be working. I'll allow it to check for updates, and we can see the admin server is at localhost 8000, where the module is at localhost 8080. So if I launch localhost 8080, there's my hello world. And if I, for example, just quickly to show hello Laurence here instead, and save that out, and refresh the browser, it's now hello Laurence, and we can see it being served here. So that's all you have to do to get your App Engine development environment up and running within Linux. Hopefully this video was informative. Thank you.